There is a lot of confusion surrounding the anodized window trim of Mercedes models from the 80s to the 2000s. I'm referring to this piece right here. So here on my wagon, you see each door has one, the rear glass has one. It has a strip on the quarter window right there, and it's got a piece going across the windshield. Sedans also have a piece going across the rear windshield, so the 124 is like this as well. So these pieces are anodized aluminum. On early models in the 190E and the 124, they were actually just painted like a dark gray, almost black type color, and then later models they will switch to anodized. If you see a 190E 16 valve, that's like the early style painted, and then later on in like the 2.3s and the 2.6s, they switch to anodized aluminum. It is actually a really nice finish to this piece, but over time they all fade, and we all know what that looks like. It turns this brown goldish color. So here it is on my 124. We'll see it's really light on the windows. So a lot of people think it came from the factory this way. That is incorrect. They never came gold from the factory. They came black, but they faded. So I recently posted a little short video explaining this, and a lot of people were arguing with me in the comments saying that they bought these gold trims new. That is false. That is BS. Don't believe that. It is faded. So if we look here at this anodized trim piece right here on the window, the further down you go, it gets darker. It's a little dirty down there, but you can see it's pretty dark. And then if you look on the inside, there's also anodized trim piece. It is less faded than the outside. And if you still don't believe me, take a look at my convertible here. This is the part that's exposed to the sun, and there's a part here that's underneath the convertible top that was away from the sun. With the top out of the way, we can now see that the part not exposed to the sun is still nice and dark. So here on my wagon, these pieces were replaced a couple years ago, so they're still nice and dark. But if you look at under certain lights, it's starting to fade. It's starting to turn that brownish color. And if you really want to see what these look like brand new, look at this piece right here on the quarter window. This is one piece, including the inside. So if you open up this door, that is what a brand new piece of anodized aluminum looks like right here. It is really dark gloss black. This is not paint, it's anodized. If you don't know what it is, look it up, but it's a different process than paint. And there's really no way to avoid this trim piece fading. It's just over the years, the sun exposure will just do that to the piece. You can, of course, remove the trim from the car, have it re-anodized by a shop that specializes in that sort of thing, but of course, it will fade again. On my sedan here, I actually had them painted black, and in fact, I had them painted body color 040 black, so they match really well. This is something that pre-merger AMG cars would have, like on the 124s, the 126s. They would just color match all the trim to the car. So 040 is just a Mercedes gloss black, so that's why I think it looks so good. But yeah, you could just color match this to your car if you really wanted to do like the pre-merger styling, but gloss black works as well. And I haven't done anything to the gold trim on my 124, which most likely I will just have this wrap gloss black. A lot of people confuse the faded trim as being factory, because let's be honest, it does look pretty good. The gold does go with the car, but it is not what came from the factory. It is faded. Today in my wagon, I'm actually going to have all the anodized trim wrapped in gloss black. It is going to be a 3M 2080 film. I'm not going to be doing it myself. I'm going to be having a professional come out and do this, and really there's a lot of tutorials if you want to know how to do it yourself. I'll just show you the results. So I'm just trying to prevent it from fading anymore. It's not horrible, honestly, and in this light it looks worse than it is in person. It's still pretty dark. So here's the before. It's really not that bad at all. Piece on the top. All right, so now all the anodized trim is wrapped except for one little piece, and we'll go over it right now. So overall, I would say doing the bottom trim here is pretty easy. You could definitely do it yourself, especially if you could take it off. These are actually really easy to remove on the 210. You just pull straight up and they'll come right out. This one is really difficult because of the seal. So this is all rubber front and back. So actually tucking it into the side right here is easy, but doing it on this little quarter window is a little difficult. The seal on that side is less malleable. That's a little bit difficult. It's also difficult to tuck it up here at the top, but it's totally doable. It's just requires a little bit more skill. The top piece I had some help with. The person that wrapped it decided to wrap it over the rubber strip, which I'm not a fan of, so we're gonna have to redo this for sure. This is also removable pretty easily. So on a wagon, you're gonna have to remove this A-pillar piece right here. If it's a sedan, you have to take the entire strip that goes all the way across off, which is actually pretty easy. It's just clips, you just pull up. But if you could take this off, which is also just clipped in, that'll make your job a lot easier. So the top piece tucked in really easily. I don't know why he decided not to tuck it in here, but that's just how it was. So this side is of course mirrored. It's the same thing. Pretty decent, the tucking around the seals. See, it's coming up a little bit there, so we could do a better job there. But overall, I think this is well worth doing. It will preserve the anodized trim if it's still dark, or if it's faded, it'll make it look like new. So obviously you can kind of see there's some texture to it. It's not going to be exactly like brand new anodized trim, but it's way better than the faded in my opinion. All right, can you tell which piece is not wrapped? Should be pretty obvious. So it's this piece right here that's not wrapped. You can see it's starting to turn brown. So this is starting to fade already, which is really unfortunate. It was brand new. It does look darker under certain conditions, but yeah, it's starting to fade for sure. So we'll have to get this piece wrapped, and hopefully we'll do a better job on this side. Basically tucking it in right here is difficult. Like you can see, I can barely move the seal, while this side is really easy to manipulate. So overall, super happy with the vinyl wrap. If you could take the pieces off, do it. It's definitely worth it. You could tuck in the edges a lot better, make it look better. It is definitely the cheapest option to have the best results. We'll see, here's my sedan. They are painted and they look pretty nice. It's starting to chip up in some of the edges, but overall it's held up really well for the past 7 years. It is of course more expensive than vinyl, and the most expensive option being of course replacing the trim, or actually rather getting it redone, because you do have to do the labor of removing it, getting it redone and putting it back on instead of buying new ones to just replace them. So those are definitely the most expensive options out there. So I think the best option is the vinyl wrapper, just for the cost reasons and the ease of install. And I also think if you're going black, if you have a black car, color matches really well. If that's the look you're kind of going for, it's a good option. And also if you're going with vinyl, you can use pretty much any color you want if you want to do something different. Black is just what the anodized trim is supposed to look like when it's brand new. Hope you found the video helpful. Thanks for watching.